Alright, for the next lesson, we're going to be going over contrast. Be that as it may, value contrast, showing emphasis in an object, a scene, something to offer some clarity. Now I do have some overlap here. You can see the dog is now more reasonable size. And this person model, if I was to drop down my end panel under transform, you can see the height is 599. That's in imperial units. If you go to metric, he's 1.83 meters, which is a pretty average male human height for Western males. And now if I scale everything off of him and kind of jump back here, you can get like a pretty good perspective. And I gave our guy I gave him a pirate hat because he's going after a pirate's chest, and not necessarily a very well populated area, if you will, but I have, you know, enough stuff in here to kind of give you the idea. So when you look at the scene, what do you look at? You see the skulls, right? You see the treasure chest and the dog, and everything is meant to draw you back to the treasure chest. Now, in order to get that treasure chest to be the focal point, you have to bring the contrast to it. So I'm going to grab the spotlight here, and I could take the light in the light properties and narrow the radius down considerably. And let's see, where we end up at 0.01. That actually looks pretty good. I could change the color of said flashlight, bring up a little bit more intensity in the color, so that way I have some color contrast, I have some detail contrast. And if I want to do a little bit more, I could even take my flashlight and rotate that about halfway onto the dog and halfway off of the human. Let's see if I can just move you over a little bit. I want you just a little bit shadowed in the face. I'm not really trying to focus on that. But what you do have in here, something you can familiarize, even though you can't see our object's face, he doesn't even have a modeled face, but you see a skull, you can see the dog's face, so you immediately become familiar with this. This looks like you could see what's going on, and your mind will really kind of fill in the details. So what's happening here? This guy's got a backpack on. This guy's obviously got nothing going on. It's just a shape for scale, but that is for the eye and for the practice here. But your viewer really needs to be able to look at your illustration and know what it means. What do you think is happening here? He's on an island, and it's early morning perhaps, and he's on a treasure hunt. So if I take the light down to next to 0 here, and I'll maybe turn this light up a little bit, and let's move this light, and I'm going to jump out for a second and go to another view. Let's see, where has that light been? Okay, so here's this light. What I want to do is kind of bring it in front of the tree just a little bit, and I think that is going to work out right about there. And now I can jump back to my camera view. There we go. I had to reset that camera view. Now this is really dark over here. There's really nothing going on, so I can bring this light up a little bit. Maybe make it kind of a little bit more yellow, kind of improve the, bring the contrast up just a little bit more of the overall scene. So I'm going to grab this model, and I'm going to go into the textures here. Let's see, is there anything we can do with that? Could play with the roughness a little bit. Looks like it's got a node attached to it. I'm gonna leave that alone. But what I can do is go to my render properties and scroll all the way down, and see I'm on high contrast. If you went to very high contrast, you get a little bit more emphasis. I don't really like that. And then very low contrast, everything's pretty bland. You know, there's no focal point. My eye just, it's flat. I really can't stand that. So the contrast is super important. So if we go to high contrast, there is some color to the dog, but not a lot. And what I can actually do is I could rotate this down a little bit more and just kind of catch maybe the ear of the dog. That's pretty acceptable. And then shadow the skulls a little bit, so my focal point really is just the treasure chest and what might be in there. So there's just a little mystery in there, and just want to kind of go over these principles one or two at a time and just start stacking your knowledge so you can understand how these scenes overall are supposed to look, and how you can kind of guide your viewer's eye to it, and you can tell a story and see what's going on.